Welcome my channel today. Let's explore the Kennedy half-dollar was first minted in 1964, shortly after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy on November 22, 1963. The coin was introduced as a tribute to the fallen president and replaced the Franklin half-dollar. The design was created rapidly, and the first coins were released in March 1964. A left-facing profile of John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts. The presidential seal, designed by Frank Gasparo. The 2023 Kennedy half-dollar represents both a continuation of a historic American coin series and a snapshot of the modern, numismatic landscape. First struck in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy after his assassination in November 1963, the half-dollar has evolved over the decades, from a widely circulated silver coin to a collector-focused issue with limited availability. Though no longer a common sight in daily commerce, the Kennedy half-dollar remains an enduring tribute to the 35th president and a staple of U.S. mint offerings. The 2023 edition carries that legacy into the 21st century with refined minting quality and specialized distribution. Obverse, front, features a left-facing portrait of President John F. Kennedy. Designed by Gilroy Roberts, this bust has remained largely unchanged since its introduction in 1964. Reverse, back, showcases the presidential seal, a heraldic eagle with a shield, holding an olive branch and arrows. Designed by Frank Gasparo, the reverse has long symbolized strength, unity, and peace. Edge, reeded diameter, 30.61 mm weight, clad, 1134 grams weight, silver proof, 12.5 grams. Composition, depends on type, see below. In 2023, the Kennedy half-dollar was struck at 3 major U.S. mint facilities. Produces circulation-style coins for collectors. No mint mark shown on coins. Also produces circulation-style coins for collectors. Displays the D mint mark, specializes in proof and silver proof coins. All proof versions carry the S mint mark. These facilities located in the eastern U.S., Philadelphia, the Rocky Mountain region, Denver, and the West Coast, San Francisco, reflect the national scope of American coinage production. No, the 2023 Kennedy half-dollar was not issued for general circulation. Since 2002, Kennedy halves have been minted solely for numismatic purposes, meaning they're only available through the U.S. Mint in rolls, bags, or collector sets. Low public demand. Half-dollars are rarely used in daily transactions. Collector interest. The mint realized the coin was more popular with collectors than the general public. Cost-effective distribution. It is more efficient to sell directly to hobbyists rather than push into banking systems. Mints. Philadelphia P. Denver D. Sold by the mint in 2-roll sets, 40 coins per roll, and 200 coin bags. Composition: copper nickel clad, 91.67% copper, 8.33% nickel. Use: intended for collectors, though technically legal. Tender sharper details than circulated coins. Mint luster present. No intentional mirror finish, unlike proof coins. Mint San Francisco S. sold in U.S. mint proof sets finish. High contrast with mirror-like fields and frosted devices. Composition: copper nickel clad, not intended for circulation, highly reflective and detailed, popular with collectors. Mint San Francisco S. sold in silver proof sets. Composition: 0.999 fine silver. Finish: mirror-like, high contrast, heavier and brighter than clad versions, highest quality strike. Considered premium collectible. Note: official final mintage numbers may vary slightly as production concludes and reports are finalized. Philadelphia P. 2.8 million. Denver D. 2.8 million. San Francisco S. proof, clad, 600,000 approximate. San Francisco S. silver proof, $400,000 approximate. These numbers are dramatically lower than the half-dollar mintages from the 1960s, 1980s, making 2023 Kennedy half-dollars more exclusive by comparison. Condition type estimated value, 2023-2024. Circulated not applicable, none released. Uncirculated, P or D 125. $2 each proof, S, clad 250, 4 Oz, silver proof, S10, $20 depending on silver spot price and grade graded MS, PF 7030, 100 plus, based on demand and certification agency. Grading note. PCGS and NGC often grade high-quality Kennedy half dollars from mint rolls and proof sets. A perfect grade, MS 70 or PF 70, can significantly raise the coin's market value. Collectability. The 2023 Kennedy half is not rare, but low mintages and no public circulation increase its appeal. Design stability. The unchanged design since 1964 continues to attract both older collectors and new hobbyists. Silver appeal. Silver proofs are particularly popular among bullion investors and numismatists alike. The 2023 Kennedy half dollar is more than just a coin. It's a modern reflection of how American coinage has evolved. Though no longer found in your pocket change, its continued production by the U.S. Mint signals enduring public respect for President Kennedy and the legacy of a once essential denomination, produced across 3 iconic U.S. Mint locations and available in several formats, uncirculated, proof, and silver. The 2023 edition serves as a bridge between the past and the present, combining patriotic symbolism with modern minting precision. Whether you're a longtime collector or new to the hobby, the 2023 Kennedy half dollar is a worthy addition to any American coin collection. The 1985 Kennedy half dollar was minted. The coin had long since transitioned from silver to a copper-nickel-clad composition. Though still struck for circulation, its popularity in commerce had waned. However, it remained a favorite among collectors, and the U.S. Mint continued to issue both circulation and proof versions. Features a left-facing portrait of John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts. The design was taken from a portrait originally created for Kennedy's presidential medal. Displays the presidential seal, designed by Frank Gasparo, an eagle clutching an olive branch and arrows, surrounded by a ring of stars. Edge, reeded. Diameter, 3061 millimeters or weight, 1134 grams. Composition, copper-nickel-clad, outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a core of pure copper. By 1985, the Kennedy half dollar had been circulating for over 2 decades, but its presence in index everyday transactions was minimal. Americans largely avoided using half-dollar coins in commerce, finding quarters and dollar bills more convenient. Nonetheless, the U.S. Mint continued to produce Kennedy halves, both to satisfy collector demand and to fulfill orders from banks or casinos. Notably, 1985 was also a period of restabilization for U.S. Mint products. After the discontinuation of official mint sets in 1982 and 1983 due to cost-cutting, they were fully reintroduced by 1984. This meant that 1985 saw a stronger emphasis on quality uncirculated and proof coins available through official mint channels. In 1985, Kennedy half dollars were minted at 3 major U.S. mint facilities, one of the oldest operating mints in the world. Coins struck here in 1985 carried no mint mark, which is standard for Philadelphia coins from this era. Located in Pennsylvania, eastern U.S., known for high-volume coin production. Coins from Denver display a clear D mint mark on the obverse, just below Kennedy's neckline. Located in Colorado, Rocky Mountains, specializes in proof and collector coinage. All 1985's Kennedy half dollars were produced with sharp mirror-like finishes for inclusion in proof sets. Located in California, West Coast, mint mintage, mint mark type, Philadelphia 18th 837 123, none. Business Strike Denver 31 442,000 D Business Strike San Francisco 336 2008 21's proof only total mintage. Approx. 53.6 million, relatively modest compared to earlier decades. Yes, unlike more recent years, Kennedy half dollars in 1985 were still officially issued for circulation. However, due to ongoing lack of demand, most Americans did not use them in daily transactions. As a result, many 1985 half dollars remain stored in Federal Reserve vaults or were quickly withdrawn from circulation by collectors. Most circulated 1985 halves show moderate to heavy wear. Value in low grades, e.g. VF to EF, $0.50, face. Value to $0.60. Not particularly rare in circulated condition. Available in official mint sets sold by the U.S. Mint. Coins exhibit full design detail, sharp edges, and original mint luster. Grade levels range from MS60 to MS67, with MS65 plus commanding collector premiums. MS60, MS63, 1 to 0, 2 as MS65, 5 zois 10 zois, MS66, MS67, 20, 50 plus, rarer in higher grades, produced with polished dies and planchets for a mirror finish. Sold only in U.S. Mint proof sets. Common grades, PR68 to PR70, PR68, PR69, 3, 7, PR70. Perfect. 25, 60 plus, depending on grading service. 1985 P coins often show weaker strikes compared to Denver issues, especially around the hair and lettering. 1985 D coins tend to have better definition and strike sharpness. Proofs from San Francisco are sharply struck, highly reflective, and generally of excellent quality. Low mintage, by modern standards. 1985 marked a shift towards smaller mintage runs for this series. Uncirculated quality, mint sets and proof sets, preserved examples in high condition. Historic transition period. The mid-1980s were a pivotal era for the U.S. Mint's approach to circulation coinage and collector products. Affordable for beginners. Even high-grade specimens are accessible to new collectors. Look for high-grade MS66 Plus examples, especially from original mint sets. For proof collectors, aim for deep cameo PR69 or PR70 specimens. Store coins in airtight holders or slabs to preserve luster and condition. The 1985 Kennedy half dollar is a coin that reflects a unique moment in U.S. numismatic history. Struck in an era when the half dollar's circulation use was declining, but its status as a collector's coin was rising, the 1985 issue bridges traditional coinage and modern minting practices. Minted in 3 geographic locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, it was made available in both business strikes and proof finishes, with a modest total mintage that supports ongoing collector interest. Though not rare, 1985 Kennedy halves remain valuable to collectors for their design continuity, historical context, and affordability. Whether found in a well-preserved mint set or gleaming from a proof holder, the 1985 Kennedy half dollar offers both new and seasoned collectors a tangible piece of presidential legacy and American coinage tradition. The next step, 1983, the Kennedy half dollar was no longer struck in silver, nor was it commonly used in everyday transactions. Despite this, the coin retained an important place in U.S. coinage history and was still being produced, though under increasingly constrained circumstances. Features a left-facing profile of President Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, who was chief engraver of the U.S. Mint in the early 1960s. The design was adapted from his original bust used on Kennedy's inaugural medal. Designed by Frank Gasparo, the reverse depicts the presidential seal, an eagle clutching an olive branch and arrows, with a ring of stars encircling it, symbolizing strength and unity. Edge, reeded diameter, 60-61 millimeters, weight, 11.34 grams. Composition, copper-nickel clad, outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a core of pure copper. The year 1983 stands out in modern U.S. coinage for an unusual and often frustrating reason. The U.S. Mint did not produce official mint sets in either 1982 or 1983. This was due to federal budget constraints during the early Reagan administration. As a result, collectors had no official source for uncirculated coins from these 2 years, unless they were obtained directly from banks or rolls. That means high-quality examples of 1983 Kennedy half dollars in uncirculated condition are harder to find today than those from years when mint sets were offered. This lack of preserved coins has made the 1983 half dollar one of the more desirable and valuable clad date Kennedy halves in uncirculated condition. The 1983 Kennedy half dollar was produced at two major mints. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, located in Pennsylvania, the original and oldest U.S. mint facility. Coins minted here in 1983 have no mint mark, which was customary for Philadelphia coins during this period. Located in Colorado, this mint handled a large share of coin production during the 1980s. Coins struck here display a clear D mint mark on the obverse, beneath Kennedy's bust. Note, no Kennedy half dollars were struck at the San Francisco Mint in 1983. There were no proof coins this year, adding to the uniqueness of the issue. Mint mintage mint mark type Philadelphia 34,139,000, none. Business strike Denver 32,407 2,244, D business strike San Francisco 0, no proof struck. Though this is a relatively high number, the scarcity of preserved uncirculated coins from 1983 makes it a low supply year for quality examples, especially in grades MS65 and above. Yes. The 1983 Kennedy half dollar was struck for circulation purposes, unlike many later issues which were struck only for collectors. These coins were distributed through Federal Reserve banks and were available at commercial banks, though they were not widely used by the general public. Most 1983 halves found today are well worn due to lack of early collector preservation. Value in circulated condition, $0.50. $0.75 depending on grade. Common issues include loss of luster, surface marks, and flattening of hair details. The absence of mint sets in 1983 means collectors seeking uncirculated examples must rely on original Federal Reserve rolls, rarely seen today, unopened bank rolls that have survived decades, dealer stock preserved from that era. Because of this, genuine mint state coins from 1983, especially those with strong luster and clean surfaces, can be difficult and expensive to acquire compared to similar issues from other years. Grade approx. Value, 2024. MS60 MS6222. Form MS63 MS6455. 8 MS65 $15s. 30 MS66 $50. 90 MS67 $150. 300 plus are scarce. Note, MS67 coins are particularly elusive due to strike weakness and poor preservation at the time. 1983 P coins are notoriously known for weak strikes, especially in Kennedy's hair and on the eagle's feathers. 1983 D coins tend to be better struck, but are just as challenging to find in pristine condition. No known major die varieties or errors dominate this year, though minor off-center strikes and double dies exist in small numbers. No proof coins. 1983 was one of only 2 years, 1982 and 1983, without official proof sets, making the year an oddity in the series. Low-grade survival bias, most surviving 1983. Kennedy halves are in circulated or low mint state condition. Collector, and high among Kennedy half-dollar enthusiasts, especially for MS65 plus examples. Rarity in high grade. This makes the 1983 issue one of the most challenging for collectors attempting a full high-grade set of Kennedy halves. The 1983 issue represents both a scarcity challenge and a historical talking point within the Kennedy series. Collectors value it not because it's made of precious metal, or because it was low mintage, but because of the mint's own production choices, chiefly the absence of mint sets and proof coins. Search dealer inventories for sealed mint rolls, preserved singles. Target MS65 or higher for long-term value. Look for original bank-wrapped rolls, which are rare and desirable. Use certified coins, graded by PCGS or NGC, to confirm quality, especially at MS66 or MS67. The 1983 Kennedy half dollar is a numismatic time capsule, shaped by politics, economy, and the policies of the U.S. Mint. It is a product of a time when budget cuts paused formal collector sets, and yet its very scarcity in high grade has elevated its status decades later. With coins struck only at Philadelphia and Denver, no proofs from San Francisco, and a limited number of uncirculated examples available today, The 1983 half dollar remains a hidden gem in the Kennedy series, a coin that is easy to overlook, but richly rewarding for those who understand its backstory. Whether you're assembling a date set, building a registry collection, or simply appreciating the coin's presidential heritage, the 1983 Kennedy half dollar offers a fascinating piece of American numismatic history. The last step, 1971. Kennedy half dollar stands as a critical turning point in the series. It was the first year the half dollar was struck entirely in base metal, without any silver content. This made the 1971 issue the beginning of the modern, clad era for the denomination, and significantly altered its role in both commerce and collecting. Designed by Gilroy Roberts, former chief engraver of the U.S. Mint, shows a left-facing bust of President John F. Kennedy. The design is adapted from a medal created for Kennedy's inauguration, designed by Frank Gasparo, also chief engraver. Depicts the presidential seal, an eagle with a shield clutching an olive branch, peace, and arrows, strength, surrounded by 50 stars. Diameter, 30.61 millimeters. Weight, 11.34 grams. Edge, reeded composition. Copper nickel clad. Outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a core of pure copper. By the late 1960s, rising silver prices made it expensive to continue minting silver coins for circulation. The U.S. Mint phased out 90% silver coins in 1964, replacing them with 40% silver coins from 1965 to 1970 for the half dollar. In 1971, the Mint eliminated silver entirely from regular issue half dollars. This was a major economic decision, intended to reduce minting costs and discourage hoarding. As a result, the 1971 Kennedy half dollar became the first clad-only half dollar, ushering in a new standard for American coinage. In 1971, the Kennedy half dollar was struck at two primary U.S. Mint facilities, located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the first official U.S. Mint. Coins from Philadelphia in 1971 do not carry a mint mark. This was a massive production year, as Philadelphia produced coins for circulation and collectors. Located in Denver, Colorado, Denver's 1971 Kennedy halves display a D mint mark beneath Kennedy's bust on the obverse, known for higher quality strikes compared to Philadelphia. In 1971, no Kennedy half dollars were struck at the San Francisco Mint, and no proof coins were issued for this date. The Mint did not release any proof or 40% silver versions of the 1971 half dollar, making this issue exclusively clad and circulation intended. Mint mintage mint mark type Philadelphia 155, 64,000, none. Business strike Denver 302, 9/7, 424D business strike. Total mintage 457, 261, 424. This was an enormous production year, reflecting continued public interest in the Kennedy coin, despite decreasing for use in daily commerce. The coin was released into wide circulation. Although intended for everyday use, half dollars were already becoming less popular in daily transactions by the 1970s. Most Americans preferred quarters or dollar bills, and many Kennedy halves were hoarded for their commemorative value. 1971. Half dollars are still legal tender, but rarely seen in daily transactions. Most examples found today are heavily worn, having passed through casinos, banks, or vending machines over several decades. In worn condition, 1971 Kennedy halves are generally worth face value, 50 cents. Slight premiums may exist for extremely fine examples or bulk lots. In 1971, the U.S. Mint did not release mint sets or proof sets that included Kennedy half dollars. This means uncirculated examples can only be found in original bank-wrapped rolls, Federal Reserve bags, or from collectors who preserved them at the time. Luster. Strong mint luster, especially from Denver issues. Strike quality. 1971 D coins tend to have sharper details than 1971 P. Surface marks. Bag marks are common due to mass production and rough handling. Grade estimated value, MS60, MS62.1, 2 MS63, MS64.2, 5 MS65.8, 12 MS66.20, 40-67, rare, $150, 400 plus. 1971, P-67 examples are particularly rare, making them targets for registry collectors. High-grade 1971 D coins are slightly more available, but still command strong premiums. Double die obverse, DDO. Some 1971 P coins show mild doubling, especially on the date or motto, "In God We Trust." Off-center strikes, seen in both mints, rare with significant value depending on percent off-center. Clipped planches, common. In mass-minted years, small crescent shapes missing from the coin. No known major varieties like repunched mint marks or transitional errors, such as silver planches, have been verified for the 1971 half, but minor errors are collectible. Look for mint sets or original rolls from bank holdings. Prioritize coins with full strike detail, especially around Kennedy's hair and the Eagle's shield. Avoid heavily bag-marked coins. Eye appeal is critical even at lower grades. Certified. Coins graded MS66 or higher by PCGS or NGC are ideal for investment and resale. Keep an eye out for error coins and toning, which can increase value. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar represents a pivotal moment in U.S. coinage, a shift from silver to copper nickel-clad. It also marked the beginning of the denomination's decline in everyday commerce, even though it remained popular among collectors. Today, while common in circulated form, the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar is gaining renewed attention from modern numismatists. Registry collectors value high-grade examples, and younger collectors are drawn to the historical resonance of President Kennedy's image. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar is a bridge between eras. It closed the chapter on silver coinage and opened a new age of cost-effective, durable coinage designed for the modern world. Despite its mass mintage, its significance in U.S. numismatic history is undeniable. From its origin at the Philadelphia and Denver mints to its absence from official mint sets, the 1971 issue embodies transition, not just in metal content, but in the public's relationship with coins themselves. For collectors today, it remains a powerful, accessible, and symbolic piece of American history